Greetings, everyone. Dr. Annette West, Publishing Pusher here. Thanks for joining me in the Jet Name, Publishing, talking all things books. Yes, the operative words, all things. I'm excited you're here. You listen in, share your thoughts. You don't have to be live on the screen to be able to talk. And I want you to know, your success is my business. I'm here to assist you, support, empower, inspire as we pull out those thoughts to get these books accomplished. Thanks again for joining me. Hi, everyone. Welcome again. Good to see you. We have Written Word Publishing, Mel Vies in the house. We have Miss Anna Roseborough in the house. And we have Angela in the house. Thank you for being here. What's going on with everybody? Any special projects you're working on?
Do you have a different sound system on today? I haven't been able to hear you with my hearing aids.
I'm on my Mac.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's what I use every week. So what do we have going on? Nothing? Any new projects?
Well, my ongoing project is having the pilot film made of the Robertson story, and the person with whom I'm working has set up called a group account on a platform called Band, BAND, and each time one of the characters is cast, he publishes the picture. And so I'm getting a chance to see who will be playing the various parts. Some of them have a different look than I had in mind, and so I have to keep that in mind as the project moves on. But one of the things I'd like to share when you get to that point is that process of getting this particular genre of the book done and some of the stumbles in getting an audio book ready for Amazon. But I'll wait until you get to that part because you have a plan for today. But thank you so much for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you, Miss Anna. What's going on? Anything going on? Written Word Publishing?
Yeah, so I'm happy to announce that on Saturday the 18th, we will be releasing the 37th book in our awesome, ever growing catalog. Yay! Some great books there, writtenwordspublishing.com. And speaking of audiobooks, we just added audiobook publishing to our list of services. So yeah, and I can talk to you on the back end about that. You can go far beyond just Audible. And I'm overbooked. I am overbooked.
So are you going to do a workshop, Mel Vies, on that audio?
Well, we're just getting started, so I have to make sure I map out everything. We still need to update the website. I need to send out an email to all the authors and let them know we're offering that service now. I partnered with a narrator. He gave us a sample. One of my authors gave us permission to use one of the short stories from his book of short stories. We narrated that, had that narrated and put it up on YouTube. I got to, update the website and work out all the kinks and everything. But yeah, I'm really excited because that's something that's been on the agenda for a few years now, and it's finally happening. So that's great.
And it's so needed. Audiobooks. There's a shortage of audiobooks. So people are looking for audiobooks. So I know we're not doing as much sometimes as we can. I know I'm not because I feel like an octopus with all of these tentacles. And it's like, what can I pull back? What can I pull back so that I can focus on this or focus on this? And so sometimes I'm working on something and I'm focused, but then I got to shift to something else. And then how long does it take me to get back to that particular thing? So that's what I am battling with right now. I just have a lot of things going on. And trying to step back from some of those things. Yeah, we're going to see how this flows in 2025. So I have a goal, and it's already the middle of January, but my goal this year is to write. This is my goal, okay? Goals can change. But my goal for myself is 6 books this year. But that means I have to get on the horse and get to riding, okay? So that I can meet my goals. And I have to finish. I have some that I've done, but they're not finished. So I could be ahead if I get those 3 finished, right? I'd already have 3 of my 6 already done. So giving myself a goal of 6 for the year. Yeah. Doing other people's books, as we've talked about, Melvise, we have to get ours done too. God has given us a voice as well. And so we need to get our content out as well as the work that we are doing for our clients. So at first I said, I don't want another client. But then I was like, well, if I get another client, then I'll be able to use one of the people that I know that's an editor, okay? Because I know what I don't want to do. And the editing part, even though I can do it, that's not what I want to do. So I'm willing to hire someone else to do those things. So someone has already reached out to me this week about a book they want to do. So I'll be talking to them soon. Still have 2 clients that I'm trying to finish up their books. One has already gone to an editor. I'm waiting for the next one to come so I can send it to Miss Anna to edit. So I'm just waiting patiently for my my authors, my writers, where they're just writers right now. They haven't become authors yet because their books aren't published. But that is a part of what I'm doing this year. And I think I did mention that last week was the first week that my Dr. Annette publishing pusher and also publishing pusher through the Christian Network ran publishing pusher with Talking All Things Books Inclusive. So I listened to it. It sounded real good. I was like, oh, okay, that was pretty good. So in that session, I actually talk about who I am, who my business is. So I had forgot that I had done that one. So that was a good kickoff, so that people would get some other insight. And I've kind of stood back from, not intentionally stepped back from interviewing people on the podcast, but just getting people to follow through with their commitments to be interviewed on the podcast. So that's why we're integrating the Talking All Things books. And since we've done the Talking All Things books as inclusive, of course, 3 people have already sent me their information now to get an interview to be on the podcast. So thank the Lord. Thank the Lord for that. But I'm excited, Melvise, in what how you're going to be expanding written words publishing. So some people might say, well, Dr. Annette, you are Jetnay Publishing. Why is written word publishing on here? Because I believe that you can't do it all by yourself. You need other people. And she's an expert at what she does. So why would I just go get a random Joe Blow to do something for me? Miss Anna is an expert in what she does. So why would I just go get a random person to do what I need Miss Anna, that I know if I give it to Miss Anna, it's going to be done right. I know if I give it to Written Word Publishing, it's going to be completed the way it needs to be. So we have to be willing to invest in others. I think we need to work more together. More collaborations are important. We can accomplish so much. Miss Anna, you were going to say something?
Who's going to ask Melvise to tell us a little bit more about the audio? Are you going to have a female narrator as well? For my last book, I did choose a male because I did not want people to think it was only for a female audience. But sometimes a female voice is important for the particular book. And so once you get that portion of your business set up, would you let us know? Because some of us do have books that we would like to be narrated, some as a male narrator and some as a female. And I understand from Audible, they prefer having just one reader for the book because of the different sounds and all of that kind of stuff that goes on. But that'll be one of the services I'd be interested in when it's ready.
Yeah, so the studio that we partnered with is out in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they are on the hunt for a female narrator for us to try out. And God's grace, they said they knew a few females, so God's grace, we'll have a female also. And you can have your book narrated by whomever you like. You don't have to use our narrator, but one of the things that one of our goals with Advent Words Publishing is to provide affordable service, and it is extremely expensive to have your books narrated. I was able to work out a very good rate for the final hour final per hour rate for the audiobooks with the narrator that we partner with. So yeah, I'll keep you posted. And then we're going to use Findaway Voices to distribute the audiobooks, which distributes to Audible and the libraries and a plethora of other platforms that provide audiobooks. So you might want to look into that. I did not see anything in their list, the terms that mentioned that there could not be multiple voices on the audio. I did not see that.
That's with Audible, the one that does for Amazon. And they are very particular about the mastering. And it goes through the similar kind of preview that KDP does for the print books. And it has to meet some very specific requirements before they will publish it. And that's one of the issues that I'm dealing with now. It's the book cover. Their book cover requirements are very different from the KDP. And I thought I'd just be able to download and upload. And no, I'm on my third version of a book cover with Audible to be accepted for sale through Amazon.
Yeah, so I know the book cover has to be a square. I believe the dimensions are 2400 pixels by 2400 pixels. But you can take if your it depends on what's on your cover. If your cover has some like distinct images, like maybe a sun or maybe image, resizing it without uh doing massive changes, just resizing your 6x9 to the 2400 by 2400, it'll just look like an album cover. It's square, it spreads it out a little bit, but it doesn't look so bad. I don't think there's really much that you have to put into it, unless, like I said, there's something really distinctive on your cover that if it gets uh what's the word I'm looking for, stretched out the wrong way, it looks funny or something like that, then that way you might have to do a workaround. But
Yeah.
as far as what I was saying, so Findaway Voices has some requirements.
Mm-hmm.
Findaway Voices distributes to Audible. So whatever Findaway Voices requirements are, no matter what Audible is saying on their end, they're taking the audiobooks from Findaway. So you might want to look into going with Findaway instead.
I will look into it. I just heard about that one this morning, but the issue was not so much what was on the book, but it was the sizing. But also when I resized it, it made it too blurry. So I had to go back to stage one with the original painting because I had an original artist create an original painting. So I didn't start off with a image from online. But like I said, I'm on the third one. I'm hoping that 3 times is a home run, but that is one of the steps in getting it done. Choosing getting the text ready, but choosing a narrator, but also some of these side steps And that's one of the things that's good about this all things books. It's not all writing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's a whole lot more beyond the writing because
So
there's a
I'll be
lot
in
that we
touch,
want.
Melvies. I'll be
Yeah,
in
there's a
touch.
lot that we want to do to
Yeah.
brand ourselves and market ourselves. So, yes.
I would just
And
like to give a tip about the so what you need to do with your original cover photo, your original cover, you need to have it in 300 DPI resolution. So you don't need 300 DPI resolution to upload it on your website or when you add it to uh, whatever platform you're using to distribute. But that 300 DPI resolution will allow you to resize it larger, smaller, anywhere without getting that blurry. That's where the blurry comes from. It's the resolution from the original file. So if your original file was only like 72 DPI, which is the standard for web, files that you put on the internet, then if you go to try to resize it, that's when you see the blurry. But if your original file was 300 DPI, you could resize it larger, smaller, do all kinds of things with it, and you would not see that blurriness. So that's where your issue was coming from, the resolution from your original file that you're trying to resize.
you're right. That's why I said I had to go back to square one. When we got to that step of uploading the audiobook, I just went to Amazon, downloaded my photo from there, and uploaded it in the Audible, and it did not work. And so I had to go back to my back files to find the original artwork. And I think that one worked, but thank you for sharing the steps so other people won't have to go through as many as I. They'll get a home run whether I just getting one base at a time. Okay.
Well, you stay in the game. Stay in the game. That's what's important. Good morning, Sharon Rand. Okay, so I'm gonna share a little bit today. Last week we started talking about, and these are just basic steps to book writing. Steps to book writing. In this new year, beginning the new year, we're reiterating some things. But then again, it doesn't matter when it is. It's good to reiterate. It's good to go back and relook at things because we miss things, we forget things, and sometimes we get some fresh nuggets in the process. So last week we started talking steps to getting started writing a book. On last week, I'll recap and then move forward. We talked about the first step was clarifying your purpose and your audience. Ask yourself, why are you writing the book? Are you writing to inspire, educate, entertain, to set something right, to set the story right, whatever? And who is your target audience? What are their ages, interests, needs, preference? All of this, we look at demographics. The second thing we talked about was choose a book topic or genre. Selecting preferably a topic that you are passionate about or knowledgeable in is a good thing. Also, determine the type of book that you want to write. Is it going to be fiction, nonfiction, memoir, help, whatever? Do your research so that you know this, if at all possible, at the beginning. Now, some people have just content that they've been writing through years, for years, so they're going to be having to put that together and then figure some of these things out. The third thing we talked about was outlining your ideas, creating a rough draft, a rough outline of your main points or your chapters. They could change through time, but you have to, if at all possible, start out somewhere. I'm an administration girl, so I like structure. I like list. I like, ABC 1, 2, 3 that I can follow. And then also in outlining your ideas is breaking down your chapters, your subtopics to organize your thoughts. Because if you have that outline to start with, then it's easy as thoughts hit you. You go put those thoughts in the section that fits that particular outline, theme, topic, or whatever you want to call it, chapter, whatever. Makes it easy during the process. The fourth thing I talked about last week was set your writing goals and deadlines, I start with how many pages I want. Do I want 100 pages, 200 pages, 300 pages? How many pages do I want to write? How long do I want to take to write? And then I could multiply, I can divide and determine how many pages I need to type content of per day over X amount of days. If I wanted a 10,000 word book and I wanted it done in, written in a month, then I wouldn't have to write much each day if you think about it. But if I was doing a 30,000 word book, 300 pages, then I would know what I need to divide by to get X amount of pages or X amount of words over each day, or however we're going to lay our plan out. And be realistic with your timeline for completing your first draft. Because you can say, well, I'm going to get this written right away. Sometimes God do just drop into us. He just drop into our spirit something and we can knock that thing out. But that don't happen most of the time. It don't happen most of the time like that for me. I have to really think about some things, pray about some things, dig into some things, and many times dig into my old notes and things of that nature. So those were the 4 areas that we talked about last week. Anybody want to share anything about any of those? Miss
Just,
Anna?
just one of the things to keep in mind occasionally, particularly if you're writing fiction, sometimes the characters tell you what they want to be said. And occasionally, writers maybe even sometimes put on the attire of that person when they sit down and just listen and let the character speak through you as you're writing. Sometimes an outline will work. Sometimes just having a setting. I'd like to have a conversation between character A and character B, but that may not be in your outline. It may come to you as you put on the persona of that character. So don't be surprised if you have modification or adaptations, but having a plan is key.
Thank you, Miss Anna. Very true. Starting out with a plan is important, because if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So putting that in place, something to start with. Were you going to say anything, Melvise, before I move on?
No, no.
Thank you. All right. So the 5th area, and I'll stop after each area to see if you have some comments now, since we're talking about. So the 5th area is creating a writing space and the schedule. Do you have a dedicated space that is free of distractions that you can go and write? I happen to have my own office, so I can shut my door and I can do what I need to do in here. Some people enjoy, I remember when I was in Germany, Gail Hayes was writing her book, and I would pass by the Burger King, and I would see her sit her car, and I would see her sitting in the same corner, and she would be sitting there with a cup of coffee writing her book. And she did that 5 days a week after she dropped her kids off at school. And she was focused. She's past now, but I mean, she did some exceptional writing before her passing. She even sold the rights to her first book to a company, and it was a very lucrative deal. So create a space, a dedicated space, because we know that distractions happen. So unless we separate ourselves, we we will have to deal with those distractions. Some people like to have soft music playing in the background. I heard somebody say, they like their worship music very, very low in the background, just the music portion. So we all have to decide how we want our environment to be, if at all possible. And then also establish a regular writing routine, but it needs to fit your lifestyle. For instance, for me, after if I'm up at 11, I'm in the zone for writing. I could write from 11 to 2 and be good. If I get up at 6 or 5, if I wanted to write, that would be a good time for me to write. So finding our best times, some people write on their lunch break. And I may have even mentioned some of this from this one last week, possibly, because it sounds familiar or recent in my head. So creating a writing space and schedule is important. Any thoughts to go along with that?
Yeah, I would like to add sometimes changing your environment can help with writing. I know sometimes when I feel like I'm stuck when I'm in my office, I'll leave and either I'll go to the library. There's a really nice library nearby, or I love to go to the Capital One Cafe. It's a really nice atmosphere in there. Or I'll go to Starbucks if I feel like spending $6 on a cup of coffee.
Thank you. So you hear that sometimes shifting your environment, especially if you get what some people call the writer's block, where you can't think of anything to write. What do I need to look at differently? Like for me, if I feel like I should be writing in this morning and I'm not, I'll go to the front window and I'll open the blinds and I'll watch the birds at the bird bath and see how they're taking their bath or moving and engaging and what movement is going around outside. Miss Anna?
That's what I was going to mention. Sometimes changing our space not only revives us, but it also gives us something to write about. Periodically, we're looking for a metaphor for a devotional. And it may be something that we see in nature, may be something we see at the coffee shop. It also may be an experience we have at the coffee shop. So having a dedicated space is one thing, but having an inspirational space is an additional thing to add. Thank you, Melvis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not only that, what I find is okay, if I go to the Capital One Cafe, that's downtown Denver, it takes at least 30 minutes to get there. I go there with the intention of being there for a set amount of time. And I came there specifically to write. That is my only purpose for being there. So that helps because if I'm in my office and I'm intending on writing, I might get distracted by doing other things or on the phone or things like that. But if I know I went to that place specifically, spend all that time traveling, all that way to write, the whole time I'm there, I am writing. So that is almost like a force, like you got to do it because that's what you came here to do. You know what I mean?
That's good. That's real good. That's real good. All right, our sixth area is simple. Start writing. Start writing. What does that mean? Come on, it's time for us to focus getting our ideas on paper without worrying about perfection. Just write. Just write, just write, just write, just write. Don't try to clean it up. Don't try to edit it at this point. Just write. Pull the thoughts out. You can use tools like your word processor. I do most of my work on my laptop. I just like the bigger. I have an iPad, but I don't really like working on the iPad. There's a writing apps, but I also like writing with my pen and paper. I buy the 3 ring, what is it, the not 3 ring, I buy the spiral notebooks, and they have these spiral notebooks on sale every year. They're like one subject 70 sheet notebooks. So when they have them on sale for like 25-30 cents, I'll buy like 10 of them, and I buy them all in the same color, red. And then I have them for all of the different things that I'm doing. I'm working on different things. So I have one over here that's called a book, preparation, get your house in order. Okay, I have one over here which is AI publishing. Only content for AI publishing there. This one is, oh, Grace Achievement Center, things that I'm working on. So I have all of my stuff separated in notebooks, and it makes it easy for me. Go ahead, Miss Anna.
I do just the opposite. I use a different color for each topic. That way, when I pull the green notebook, I know what I'm doing. When I pull the purple notebook, and I used to do this in class as well, I would have different color folder for each class that I was teaching. And so I could say, go up there and get the green notebook. Your paper is in there. So some people do well with all one color. In this case, a different color for each topic.
So see, you can do it more than one way. Y'all see this red behind me. So I really like red. So red is like my favorite color. And people have said, well, you don't wear red a whole lot. I said, but it's still my favorite color. I may not wear it as much as I don't want to be obsessed with it. But when I see something that's red and it grabs my attention, so I grab those red notebooks. But Miss Anna is correct. You may want to use other colors. That works just as well. But you have to find what works for you, your own rhythm, and then get to it. Get to writing. Start writing. Any other comments?
No, I agree with both of you. So great minds think alike. I use notebooks too. I use composition notebooks though, and then I'll just write in the white space on top of the front of the notebook what that book is for. I just like the composition notebooks because I like the wide, the wide rule spaces. But yeah,
Yeah,
great minds think alike.
I used to like composition notebooks too. So yes, that's good. But I don't think I saw one in red. That's a me thing, okay? If I saw it in red, I would probably buy quite a few of them. The seventh thing is revise and edit. Remember I said in 6, start writing, don't worry about all of that other stuff. Now you've written your content. Now revise and edit. One of the sessions that we talked about, Miss Anna and Written Word Publishing Melvise was here. It was called getting your manuscript edit ready. So you want to go back and look at that video or listen to that audio portion of it where we talk about it. But revise and edit is where we review our draft for clarity, flow, and grammar. And know that we may have to rewrite and refine and do the same thing over several times before we get it to be an edit ready to move over to the professional edit. See, some people think I can write and then I'm just going to hand it over to you. Well, if you hand it over to me and it requires extensive editing and or ghostwriting, then you're going to have to pay more than initially you thought. But believe me, it's written in your contract. If it's required, there will be an other fee, and you sign the contract. So, what say you, Miss Anna or Melvise Written Words Publishing, about that?
I say ditto. Ditto. Yes, read your book and read it out loud. Or you can, if you're using Word, I believe Word has an audio feature that will read it to you, just so you can hear. If you listen to it, take some time away from it and go back to it and read it again. Maybe if you have a family member or a friend, ask them to read it to point out something that maybe doesn't flow properly, or maybe this just doesn't make sense, because sometimes you write stuff that makes perfect sense to you, but you have to think
Yep.
about, will somebody else, a total stranger, know exactly what I'm talking about here? So yeah, ditto. That's my response.
One of the
Thank you,
things
Melvise.
that Dr. West probably includes in the contract to help particularly new writers understand the difference between content editing and editing for grammar, punctuation, and all of that. And sometimes that first read of someone else's manuscript may just be what Melvise was saying, read it, does it make sense? And I just may read it all the way through and give 3 comments. What's working well? what needs some work, and here's a recommendation for starting. That's one fee. But another one, as Dr. West was saying, if you expect me, your coach, to rewrite those sections, that's another fee. And if you expect me to do what Grammarly can do for you for free, you're going to pay me. So lots of different areas of that revision stage. Who does it? What kind of information you get back? And this is one of the reasons for going back to that original outline that we've written. Sometimes we think we've done it until we look at the outline and we realize that there's some portion we've left out and we can go back and do it. So follow the advice you're getting from Dr. West and you'll be okay.
Thank you. Sharon, did you have anything? I see you here. It's good to have you. But revise and edit. Yes. And number 8 is, and it was just mentioned, seek feedback. They just said it. Share your manuscript with people that you trust, family, or sign up for a writing group. There are some great writing groups that you can join that you dialogue back and forth about each person's pieces and give feedback, and it's no cost to you because you are a part of that group. So that may be something that you want to do. Or you can also, at some point, I'm going to say this, I'm not going to say consider hiring a professional editor. I'm going to say at some point you need to hire a professional editor. Okay? I don't want us to think that, oh, just because my friend looked at it and she's been working in the school system as a principal secretary and she's been doing correspondence, that she is the right set of eyes to give me the final opinion about what's right and what's wrong and edit worthy in my work. So we can only do but so much on our part. And even though I can edit my book, and when I edit my book, I think it's right. But I guarantee you, soon as I hand it to an editor, something's not going to be right. There's going to be several things that's not right. But because when it's ours, so it's ours and we've had our hands on it for so long till in our minds we know exactly how it's supposed to be. But when the professional eyes beyond yours look at it and read it, they might see disconnects that we totally missed. Maybe we used the wrong word. Maybe we tried to explain something, we didn't explain it right. So we need that professional set of eyes to give us a detailed review. And then we take the detailed review and we go back and we adjust accordingly in the document all the comments and recommendations that they said. Your editor, if they're professional, they're going to send you your document back with edits shown throughout it. And you will be able to look at those edits. They'll be colored and lined in different things. You will be able to accept or reject the things that they said, because you don't have to accept it just because they said it, because it's your book. But well, that's if you're doing self-publishing. Now, if you're going with a traditional company, you don't have to worry about it because they're going to make sure it's tight and right, but you're going to pay that massive amount for it as well. But for us who have our own publishing companies, and we're doing self-publishing, and our people are doing self-publishing, they need to know that they can do what is required to a point. Ms. Anna mentioned Grammarly. First of all, if you're using Word, you have an editor in Word. Use the editor in Word first. You already got it. It don't cost you nothing. Use it. Then use Grammarly. Use the free version. But I'm going to say this. This would be my recommendation. Use the free version. And when you get to the end of your book that you're doing your final reviews before you send it over to the professional editor, I would pay for, even if it's just 1 month, I would pay for a month of Grammarly so that you can get the pro. That's going to give you more tools to work with, more thoughts to interject. And then guess what? After you've done what you need to do, then you just go back to the free version. That's why you don't pay for the whole year in advance. You just pay for the month that you want. So that's just a little thought that you can do in working to make your book edit ready. I actually had a person say to me, well, if I have to do all of that, what are you for? Well, that's a good question, right? If you have to get your document edit ready, but guess what? You don't have to get your document edit ready. You can just pay me more. So I'm trying to, like Mel V said, I'm trying to help you save some money. But if you want to spend more money, come on. I will receive it and we will get it taken care of. Any comments, Miss Anna or Mel V's?
Ditto.
Well, since you asked, we're coaches and we just help you move along. But you said you're going to have to run this race yourself. I cannot run this race for you. And that's why I use, I say, the metaphor, the simile. I am like a coach. You tell me what you want to do. You give me your plan. You're running a, I say, what do you call it? The 100-yard dash, or you're running the a mile relay. Let me know, and I will be here to coach you along. And if I can't, we'll hire another coach who can do it. And so you have your offensive coaches, you have your defensive coaches. We do the sort of same thing with writing as well. But it's yours. We're here to help, but you pay for our services either directly or in exchange. But there is a cost. And sometimes what you have to pay is attention.
Mm, that's good, Miss Anna.
That's good, Miss Anna. I like that, Miss Anna. Pay attention, and then you won't have to pay so much money.
Okay.
That's good. That's real good. Well, we are nearing our the end of our time together, and I still have a few more things under steps to book writing. So I guess we will have a part 3 next week where I will recap what I've done thus talked about thus far, and then we will finish up. But thank you, Melvise Written Words Publishing, Miss Anna Roseborough, Shannon for being here, Angela. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you so much. And just remember, this is 2025. There is more that we will be doing, each one of us. This isn't for me, this is for each of us. There is greater before us, but we have to apply ourselves to it. And I believe that the Lord is saying to each of us, there's still more that we can do. There's still more that I'm expecting of you. There are still more people that I need you to help, to assist, to guide, to coach, to strengthen, to empower, whatever the words we want to use. But we're going to be intentional in our efforts in 2025, more intentional. And as I like to end and say, we are blessed to be a blessing. And if you serve King Jesus, as I do, then you are supposed to be the visible manifestation of his invisible presence. I will catch you next time. Bye bye.